second cycle we want to look at is known as the carbon cycle. And of course, there is carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This begins with photosynthesis, which is being done by the plants and other photosynthetic organisms on the earth. Let's recall what the formula for photosynthesis is. It is carbon dioxide plus water and energy from the sun, giving us glucose, sugars, with a byproduct of oxygen. Now, specifically, from photosynthesis, there is a reaction known as carbon fixation, where the carbon dioxide is trapped as a sugar, basically going from a gas to a solid state within the photosynthetic organism. This is the beginning of carbon being organic, but of course we also know that this carbon that is now in sugars can then be transferred into other molecules. So let's look at what organic carbon looks like. Of course, there are sugars, but we also have fats, nucleic acids, making up our DNA and our RNA, and amino acids, which make up our proteins. Organisms will recycle this organic carbon amongst themselves through consumers, primary, secondary, and so on and so forth. And we can see that that organic carbon will get transferred to other organisms. Those organisms can then do their respiration. And that respiration, if we recall what that formula looks like, we have oxygen and sugar, which gets converted to carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. ATP is really what these organisms wanted, but carbon dioxide is a byproduct of that. And that carbon dioxide will then get released back into the atmosphere from that respiration. What is interesting to note is that our society is now based on fossil fuels for energy. And where do these fossil fuels come from? When organisms die, their bodies start breaking down, and those bodies can get trapped in the earth. And over millions of years, dead organisms will turn into the oil that is trapped in the earth. Nowadays, we can take that oil and use that carbon material. We can burn it, and that's what combustion means, is to burn. We can do combustion of these dead organisms and recapture that energy from those bonds of that carbon. And that energy, of course, can be used in order to fuel our cars. But in the meantime, that carbon, as we're burning those fuels, that carbon does go back into the atmosphere. And that's what are known as carbon emissions from fossil fuels, which is, of course, a concern because these organisms were trapped as oil, but now we are burning them at such a fast rate that the amount of carbon that we're releasing into the atmosphere is at very high levels these days because of industry.